Boys and girls, hasn't been too long since we spoke about Paddock's run-out list for 2022, and now here we are, AP announcing novelties for 2022, and not just any novelties, and probably not all novelties for the year, I guess, but the novelties with regards to the 50th anniversary of the Royal Oak. Straight off the bat, this is not going to be the best video ever made. Also, my excitement is, let's say, quite limited, but nevertheless, let's go through the announcements very quickly. 3 lines that I want to talk about: 1, the Jumbo; 2, the 37mm; and 3, the Chrono, particularly the 38mm. So we start with the Jumbo. The 15202 is dead, and now, well, it lives almost again. It's a 16202. Looking at it from the outside, just looks wise, it's basically the exact same watch. What changed? The inside. The old movement, the historic 2121 is gone, and now they have a fully in-house, if you want, movement, the 7121, with some improvements. So you got a quick set day, that's something a lot of people were asking for, and you got an increased power reserve. Now, on paper, this is a good thing, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that also think it's sad that they didn't stick to the original movement. And I think this is something that I really like watch brands, if watch brands do that, basically taking an old model and almost having a reissue. This is something that I very much like about the Omega Speedmaster 321, where they really reissued the watch but used better technology. So you still had the black bezel, but it's now ceramic. You have now a sapphire crystal, stuff like that. But aside from that, it's the exact same watch as you could have purchased decades ago. So from that perspective, it's a bit sad that they changed the movement. But again, I also understand if you're buying a current production watch, you expect some of the technical advancements that you should be able to obtain at that price level. So I completely understand what they did. Look-wise, it doesn't change. I think they use a different type of technique to color the dial, if I'm not mistaken. You see here the rotor. I'm not sure if this is white gold or steel. Would be a shame if it's steel. I very much prefer the yellow gold, or what is it, rose gold? I'm not even sure, rotor that they used in the past. You see the 50th anniversary logo on that rotor. This will only be part of the movement for 2022 production models. You see it also available with a smoked dial in yellow gold, and you see also a rose gold version and a platinum version. Honestly, I couldn't care less about this platinum version with the green. I really don't get the green. I don't get why there's no tapisserie pattern on it. So that's that. So 39, in my opinion, nothing to write home about. Okay, now let's maybe move to the second collection, if you want to call it that, the 37mm. And here you see some slight changes on the outside. So you see the beveling on the case is more pronounced. Apparently they wanted to have a more pronounced contrast between the polished and brushed parts of the case. That's number 1 that they did. The first thing that they did. Number 2, they also changed the shape, I believe, of the first 4 links of the bracelet to make the tapering more clearly visible. Also, I believe the bracelet will now be a bit thinner and lighter. At the same time, they didn't introduce a micro adjust. Now, I'm perfectly fine that they didn't do this with regards to the Jumbo. That's fine, to the 16202, 15202. But here, this would, in my opinion, probably be more important than just tapering that bracelet even further. I think, especially, I may be wrong. I haven't seen the watch in the metal, as they say, and it may change my opinion, but this makes the watch probably even more feminine and that's probably a bad thing if you want to wear it as a male, but just speculation here. So I mean, I don't really get why they did that. I didn't see the need for them to do that. Apparently also some small changes with regards to the chaptering, how that one looks. They got rid of the automatic, to me, print on the dial. To me, not a big deal. What we have, however, we have plenty of different variations. And here I'm not a fan of two-tone at all, but this looks kind of sexy. I wouldn't buy it, but it reminds me, it has really like an old school vibe of it to it, and that's actually not such a bad iteration. You can see here in the backside the clasp looks very much the same. And here you see different colors available now. That light blue, this blue apparently is also changed. I think it's a midnight blue, some French expression that they use, and I'm not sure. I think this is even the same blue that they're using on the jumbo now, because that wasn't the case in the past. And I have to verify this, but apparently it's the same blue that they used way back in the day, because the blue on the jumbo, if I'm not mistaken, also changed throughout the time. Just clicking through the pictures here, and here you see the full lineup. Of course, they had to slap another green dial on the watch as well. What I would have loved to see would be, the reintroduction of the rose gold one with that gray or silver dial. That's a killer watch for me, particularly if you're female. That would be the watch to get, in my opinion. So that's the lineup on the 37 mil side of things. The old reference was 15,450. The new reference is 15,550, at least the first part of the reference. And then the second part, so they changed the bracelet. So that used to be 1256 and then ST for steel. And this is now 1356 ST. So again, we'll have to see how this one's going to look like in the flesh. Now on to the last one, the chrono. And if you know me or if you watch some of my videos, I really care about the 38 mil chrono. And I was hoping that maybe they would incorporate the code 1159 movement also in the 38 mil version of the chrono as they did in the 41. Breaking news, they didn't. So they're still using the same movement as they did in the past in the 38, so the Frederic Piguet movement. And they obviously continue to use the code 1159 movement for the 41 mil. What that means basically ultimately is that the 38 mil still has a closed case back. So that would have been the thing that I would have been, looking forward to. That didn't happen. Now, since the 38 mil chrono has used the same bracelet as the 37, they continue to do that. So obviously they changed the bracelet on the 37, meaning that new bracelet 1356 is now also being used on the 38. And if I think of it, the 38 mil, even though on paper it looks like 38, 37, it's not a big difference, but it's quite a bit chunkier, right? And I wonder how that new bracelet will look on that chunkier watch. And maybe, also in terms of I think they also did some changes with regards to the case here. Not even completely sure. To me, it's again a non-event. What I see that they changed is the dial. So they got rid of the AP logo at 12 o'clock. You only have Audemars Piguet. And they also got rid of the automatics. I couldn't care less about the automatic, but the AP logo at 12 o'clock, I kind of like that. And also what they did is they moved the Swiss-made text up just a little bit. So it was part of that tapisserie, part of the dial, and now it's part of the chaptering. And you see the, I guess, graduation, you can call it. It's not the same across the dial. You can see here it's less, how you say, you have less steps in that graduation versus the rest of the dial. And to me, that makes it less symmetric. And I know we're talking details, but honestly, and of course I'm biased, I prefer the old version of it. So for me, honestly, I'm just happy that I have the old one and I don't see any need of changing anything. Here you see the bracelet, which apparently should be thinner. Now, looking at this picture, it doesn't look thinner than the one that I have on mine. And I even thought that the one that I have, the bracelet, it was already quite thin. So interesting to see how that's going to look like in the flesh or in the metal. Also, of course, a green dial here. I think it's olive green. And then what I wanted to show you was this here. So you have now in the 38 mil version as well a blue dial. So that means basically that the quote-unquote panda is gone, if I'm not mistaken. You got this blue dial here. I don't know. I think I still prefer the rhodium dial that I have. So this is it. You can see I'm not too excited about it. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Honestly, I don't mind brands not changing too much when it comes to their classic lineup. At the same time, obviously, you have to introduce, new features and basically incorporate new technologies. So maybe a non-event is not the worst thing ever, but I'm just wondering myself, 15202 being dead, now we got the 16202. Will the same be applied by Patek with regards to their 5711? Will they be a much rumored 6711? I'll guess we'll have to wait another couple weeks or months and then we'll know, but I wouldn't be too surprised, to be honest. And question will also be what will happen to the prices on the secondary market with the 15202. Will it continue to go through the roof, or will people maybe calm down and say, basically it's the same watch? I guess it's probably rather the first option, that people will go apeshit because the old classic movement is definitely not going to be available anymore. So guys, not the best video. I apologize. Nevertheless, if you liked it, leave a thumbs up or don't. Doesn't really matter in this case. But thanks for taking the time and let me know your thoughts. And I'll see you hopefully soon in the next video. Bye bye.